one of our favorite segments, MozillaWatch, Leo.
It keeps coming back.
They just keep coming. So, recent OMG Ubuntu article, Firefox on Ubuntu. As we mentioned, they keep working on it. So it's really great.
Yeah, we saw last topic episode, we talked about how the snaps are way fast. No, it was the Ubuntu episode. We were talking about it in the Ubuntu episode.
We talked about it the one after, too, because we talked about our experience.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yep. Right. So, yeah, recently we talked about just how much faster the snap was becoming on Ubuntu, right? About 6 seconds to start up on modern hardware, which is pretty darn good.
Yep.
If you're comparing it to the regular Deb, which starts up at about the same.
It's close to the same. Yeah, close to the same.
Right. But lately, Mozilla and Canonical have been working on a fix for a couple of common issues. Number one being something like KeyPass, the KeyPass thing, like adding that in, you couldn't do the copy paste easily. Is that what was going on there?
Right. So this is part of we'll call it the free desktop specification things, and being able to interact with local files from your web browser. So the XDG desktop portal stuff got added. And so in doing so, it allowed, because KeyPass uses a local database installed on your system. And so Firefox extensions didn't have access to that in the confined snap. And so now there's been some changes there. So it allows those portals to be opened, if you will. And then Firefox in the snap variety can get access to those things.
Fantastic. So, I mean, with something as integral to everyday life as a browser, you might have the opinion that it probably should have been there in the first place when they decided to make that the default.
I guess, but maybe. But it's like a security thing, right? You don't want to necessarily open up the world to your browser, because I mean, that's the first place that's getting hijacked. If you right?
So I'm kind of on the fence, right? Like, so I live in the security world all the time. I'm steeped there all the time. So I totally get the aversion to just allowing your browser to touch whatever it wants to, just read by default, right? Whatever it wants to on the entire operating system. It's a little much. But also the folks on the other end of this steeping themselves in security by using something like KeyPass XC cannot do what they need to do with the extension that they installed. Could you just copy and paste it from the database? Yes, but the entire point of having that extension was that you didn't have to do that, and you erase the need for having to worry about your clipboard being compromised in one way or the other, right? So it's important. That's fantastic, but the same change that gave rise to the ability to use KeyPass XC in the browser in Snap on Ubuntu also allows the GNOME shell extension. So when you go out to the web page and you click on the little add this extension, that was a no-go in Snap until recently, and now you can install the GNOME extension for I think that's what
Firefox.
it is.
Yes, it's an extension,
and then you click on it and go, but
which was actually the default way to do it up until, that release, right? Because that was the advised method, was you installed the Firefox extension, and then you could, use that to install GNOME extensions. And because you went to the GNOME webpage and you toggled the little thing and it installed it and activated it and all that good stuff. But once they switched to the Snap and the confinement happened, it didn't work anymore. And so, very upset people.
The good thing about this was, I think this, because I had not heard of GNOME extensions, the app, up until this point. And I think this might have been one of the catalysts that pushed it to the forefront. And
I agree.
now you can just install an app, search within the app, find the extension you want, and install that, all without going to the web. I mean, yes, you obviously use the internet to do it, but you don't have to open a browser. You don't have to install an extension. You don't have to go to the website. You don't have to toggle it on. You don't have to click allow. You don't have to go through that process. And it's just there, all confined within this one little app, and that's how you control it. I have fallen in love with doing it that way. So, this change in Ubuntu didn't really affect me on that front because I had been using the GNOME Extensions app for, as soon as I saw someone announce it months ago, I was like, yep, that is my favorite way to do this now. I don't even have to use it to know that I would like it better than going to a web page. But either way.
Yeah, there were many people that were using it the other way, though, and using the browser extension. And I will say that the web page, the GNOME web page, is nice looking, and it makes discoverability pretty good. So, yeah. So, I mean, if that's your preferred method, by all means.
There it is. Yep. It's now available in the Snap. So, more on Firefox as a whole rather than Firefox on Ubuntu. Firefox 104 is released. And we said when we were talking about Firefox 103 that the touchpad gestures got bumped to 104.
Right.
And it got bumped again. So, but it only worked on Wayland either way. But there are no Wayland touchpad gestures, but I might be the only one that is happy about this. I don't like it. I do not like those touchpad gestures because I accidentally do it all the time on Mac at work.
Oh.
And because I have a lot of the resources that I use span horizontally. And I have to scroll horizontally. And the amount of times, because I have to edit these things too, the amount of times I have accidentally gone forward or back in the browser while just trying to get to the next few columns, it is frustrating. So I don't think in my normal daily life that I do a whole lot of horizontal scrolling, but there are some websites that are just too wide, right?
Yeah.
But man, the moment I have that frustration again, I'll probably go into About Config and just turn that off. Because it works right now. Like if I want to do it now, I just hold the Alt key and then 2-finger left and right. And then it already works. So frustrating. So
we don't need that.
I'm okay if it doesn't happen. But though I know tons of people that are waiting for this. So you'll get it. I may just turn it off.
So one thing though that is a welcome improvement, I think, is the battery life, right? So Firefox is in the background or otherwise not in the focus. The tabs are throttled, which means less activity. So it also means less CPU usage and then thereby extending your battery life.
Yes. I was talking about battery life on the framework. I don't know if that made it to the show or not now that I think about it. But I was talking about that, saying that I get about 10 hours of battery life on the framework. I'll take 10 and a half hours because when I'm doing anything on the laptop, the browser's always open. I'm doing research, doing history, whatever it is. There's always a browser with like 8 tabs open. Yeah. So that forefront tab, at least, But having the entire browser take a back seat whenever I swap workspaces or choose a different application is huge for battery life. That is fantastic. I'm so welcoming this change. It's not in Linux Mint yet. It was as a snap as we record this available.
Yes.
But not quite in Linux Mint though, I imagine tomorrow sometime.
A day or two.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for more battery life.
Oh, well, I always welcome that. Plus, even if it's not battery life, it's just less, utilization of other system resources that you can do something else with. So that's good too.
And for those of you with streaming services, specifically Disney Plus, you can now get subtitles. Yay!
So they've been improving these for a couple of releases.
Right.
The subtitles and the picture-in-picture stuff.
Yeah, in the picture-in-picture thing. I forgot to mention that. But in the picture-in-picture thing, you do get the subtitles, which is a feature. The picture-in-picture is a feature unique to Firefox, I think. I don't know of any other browser that does pop out video.
There are other ones that attempt it. I don't think any of them are as successful as Firefox. Firefox is probably the best one that I've used that has the picture-in-picture mode.
I love it. I absolutely love using it. When I'm listening to music, I'll pop it out, put it down, because I like the animations that a lot of channels on YouTube have that when you're just listening to music or something like that. And I like seeing that. And so when you pop it out, it's on top. Just make sure you're not putting in front of something that it obscures. And it's just a nice little video. It's nice. It's pretty nice.
It is nice. And it does stay on top. So that's the other nice thing, too. So it keeps its focus even while you can work on other stuff in the background.
Keeps its focus.
Yes, just like us. The other thing is a fix for freezing when moving one tab from one window to another window. Now, I don't think you've experienced this, Leo, and I can't say that I have either, so I didn't know it was a thing to begin with.
Yeah, well, in the bug report, many folks that were talking about that in the bug report were saying that it's totally random. Like, there was no rhyme or reason between what tab it was, how many windows were open, when they moved it, none of it like that. But with bug reports like that, I don't know how they pinpointed what was going wrong.
Fix it, yeah.
But somehow they figured out how to do this. But yeah, again, like Dan said, neither of us really had this particular, and I do it all the time.
Yeah, I move them around all over. Yeah,
I always have, especially during research, have two Firefox windows open, one on the left so I can write in Kodi or in HedgeDoc, and one on the right where I'm doing my research, and I move tabs back and forth all the time.
Yeah, and I do all sorts of crazy things. I'll pull them out of the one and put it on another screen entirely.
Yeah,
and like messing around with it all over the place. And I've not experienced that.
Don't know. But hey, someone out there is definitely going to have a really good time at 104.
So that's good. No, these sound like some very welcome improvements. So that's good to see.